Students, my name is Inderpreet Singh and today we are going to discuss about human digestive system. So here in this figure you can see I have made the diagram of human alimentary canal. This is the figure of human alimentary canal, and with this figure we will study about human digestive system. Human digestive system. So before I explain, I want to tell you about digestion. So what is digestion? Digestion is the breakdown or simplification of the complex food material. Digestion is the breakdown or simplification of the complex food material. So with this figure we will understand about how the food is digested in our body. So first of all, we intake the food from our mouth, and then our teeth break down that food, and that process is called chewing. And after that our tongue rolls and tastes that food. So when our tongue is rolling that food or tasting that food, then a special type of gland which is present here above this portion and below the tongue, and name of that gland is salivary gland. Now the question arises, what is a gland? So gland is an organ in our human body which produces or excretes hormones or enzymes. So when our tongue is tasting or rolling the food, the gland, or we can say salivary gland, which is present here above this portion and here below the tongue. So this salivary gland excretes or produces the saliva. Saliva is basically the liquid which is present in our mouth. So first process of digestion, or we can say the breaking down of complex food material into the simple one, starts into our mouth. And which enzyme does this process, we will study about that. So inside our mouth, the salivary gland produces the saliva, and that saliva is having a special type of enzyme. The name of that enzyme is salivary amylase. Now the question arises, what is an enzyme? Enzyme is biocatalyst. Enzymes are the biocatalyst which makes the metabolic reactions fast in our body. So enzymes are the biocatalyst which makes the metabolic reactions fast in our body. So inside our mouth, the first process of digestion starts, means the carbohydrate is converted into glucose. The carbohydrate is converted into glucose with the help of salivary amylase. This is an enzyme which is present in the saliva, and saliva is produced by the salivary gland. So after this conversion of carbohydrate to glucose by the salivary amylase, the food enters into the food pipe. So here you can see this is our food pipe, and the other name of this food pipe is oesophagus. So in the oesophagus or in the food pipe, there is special type of movement of the food, and that movement of the food is called peristaltic movement. So now the question arises, what is the peristaltic movement? So in the food pipe, or we can say this food pipe contracts from the upper side and expands from the lower side when the food is falling down inside the food pipe. So this type of movement of the food inside the oesophagus or the food pipe is called the peristaltic movement. I am repeating again. When the food enters into the oesophagus or the food pipe, this oesophagus or this food pipe contracts from the upper side and expands from the lower side, and the food, in this way the food falls down this food pipe, or in this way the food comes down from this food pipe. So this type of movement of the food is called peristaltic movement. So after the peristaltic movement in the food pipe, the food enters into the stomach. So in the stomach there is again a special type of gland present, and the name of that gland is gastric gland. The gland which is present in the stomach is called gastric gland. So this gastric gland releases the hydrochloric acid, HCl, mucus and pepsin in the stomach. So now what is the function of the HCl or hydrochloric acid in the stomach? Hydrochloric acid makes the food medium acidic, and the second function of HCl is to kill the harmful bacteria which comes with the food. It also kills the germs which comes with the food. Now this pepsin, the conversion of the protein to amino acid is done in the stomach with the help of pepsin. So what is the function of pepsin? Pepsin converts the protein into amino acid in the stomach in the acidic medium. Now what is the function of the mucus? The mucus is present, and the function of the mucus is to protect the delicate organs or the inner lining of the stomach from the strong action of the hydrochloric acid. As you know, this HCl or hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. So to protect the delicate organs of the stomach inside, we are having a inner lining present which protects the delicate organ of the stomach from the strong action of the HCl, and that inner lining is called mucus. So basically mucus protects the inner inside organs of the stomach from the strong action of the hydrochloric acid. Now here you can see this is the liver. So liver produces the bile juice and bile salt. So bile juice makes the food medium alkaline. Bile juice makes the food medium alkaline. What is an alkaline? Alkaline is the just opposite of the acidic. It means it is the base. So basically alkaline are those bases which are soluble in water. So bile juice makes the food medium alkaline. Now the question arises, what is the function of bile salt? Bile salt converts the large fat globules into the smaller ones. I am repeating, bile salt converts the large fat globules into the smaller one, and this process is called emulsification of fat. Emulsification of fat is done by the bile salt. And here you can see this is gallbladder. The bile juice and bile salt which is produced by the liver, these are stored in the gallbladder. So gallbladder stores the bile juice and bile salt. And here you can see, here it is pancreas. So pancreas releases the pancreatic juices named lipase or trypsin. So first lipase converts the fat into fatty acid or glycerol. Lipase converts the fat into fatty acid or glycerol. And second, trypsin, the function of the trypsin is same as that of pepsin in the stomach. Both are having the same or similar names, pepsin or trypsin. Their function is also similar, means conversion of protein into amino acid in the stomach is done by the pepsin in the acidic medium. But the conversion of protein into amino acid in the pancreas is done by the trypsin, but this is done in the basic medium. So this is the main difference, that pepsin converts the protein into amino acid in the acidic medium, but trypsin converts the protein into amino acid in the pancreas in the basic medium. So pepsin converts protein into the amino acid in the stomach in the acidic medium, and trypsin converts the protein into amino acid in the pancreas in the basic medium. So after that, the food enters into the small intestine. Here you can see this is the small intestine. We can say the complete digestion or the complete absorption of the food occurs in this small intestine. So I have made a large view of small intestine. You can see here there are finger-like projections in the small intestine, and these finger-like projections are called villi. So what is the function of these villi in the small intestine? Villi increases the surface area for the absorption of these three components: glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glycerol. I am repeating again, villi, which are the finger-like projections in the small intestine, they increase the surface area for the absorption of glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glycerol. And with these villi or finger-like projections in the small intestine, you can see here the blood vessels are connected. So these three components which are absorbed by the villi, these three components, glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glycerol, these three components from the villi are taken by the blood vessels. So blood vessels are connected to the villi, and they take the absorbed glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glycerol from the villi, and these three components are taken to the other organs for the energy purpose by these blood vessels. So after this, the undigested food which is not digested in our body, this enters into the large intestine. The length of the small intestine in our body is almost 6 meter or 6.5 meter around, and the length of the large intestine in our body is around 1.5 meter. So the length of small intestine in our body is around 5.5 to 6.5 meter, and the length of the large intestine in our body is approximately around 1.5 meter. So the undigested food comes into the large intestine, and here in the large intestine extra water or extra salt is absorbed. So from the undigested food, the extra water or extra salt is absorbed in the large intestine. After this, the food which is not digested, which is undigested, comes out from the body through the anus. So the undigested food comes out from the body through the anus. Students, here you can see there is an organ which is appendix. So appendix was useful in our ancestors' body when they eat raw food. Now at present we don't eat raw food, so this appendix is not so much useful at present. So the function of this appendix is decreasing day by day. So the size of this appendix organ is also decreasing in our human body. This appendix was helpful to digest the raw materials or the raw food. So basically this was the human digestive system. I hope this topic is very much useful to all of you, or I have explained each and every organ of our human alimentary canal. Thank you students, thank you very much.